Hello. So I thought I'd try making a quick video mainly about this possibility of a double game week 16, blank game week 17. I might talk about my own team and my plans later. But the big news last night was that Palace beat Liverpool, which is very good news if you like a bit of chaos and carnage in FPL with double game weeks and blank game weeks. They also got drawn in the EFL quarter-final against Arsenal, and which is also good because Arsenal are in Europe, so it puts a bit of pressure that they might have to play that game in game week 16. Basically, in case anybody doesn't know, I'll just kind of go over it. So the big problem here is so in game week 16, that's where the EFL quarter-final is going to go. But you can see there's this fixture here, which is Crystal Palace versus Cups and KUPS in the Conference League, and so that creates a clash. They're supposed to be playing it on the Thursday, but the EFL games are supposed to be played on the Wednesday and Tuesday. So usually that's going to create a clash, and so something's got to give, and it's not going to be the Europa League game because that's the last game of the group stage in the Conference League. They all got to be played at the same day, same time. So you're going to have to move the EFL quarter-final game. And the question is, where do you move it? There are a few places you could move it, but I think the most intuitively obvious is just to whack it in 17. You want to get it done sooner or later. I mean, you could technically put it in 16 or 18 or 19, but it's why would you do that? It's got to be played. It's going to have to be played at least 2 weeks before the semi-final. Semi-final starts there, and you need to kind of do the draw and get fixture stuff sorted. So where do you play that EFL quarter-final? It's in one of those. Seems kind of unintuitive to put it in 16 because Crystal Palace play Man City, and Man City are a team that are in Europe, so you're dragging them into it. Makes it a little more complicated. Same with Tottenham here in 18, another European team you're dragging into it, whereas Crystal Palace play Leeds in 17, so that's nice and simple. If you put the EFL quarter-final in game week 17, then rearrange the Crystal Palace Leeds game, where they've got some nice blanks here. In game week 22 and game week 23, the Conference League, Europa Conference League, do not have fixtures. That's just Champions League and Europa League. So Crystal Palace and Leeds have lovely, easy blanks, guaranteed. Just feels like a nice, simple way to just move it over there. So that's easy. And then putting it in game week 19 just seems like why. It's very late. And you would also, because Crystal Palace are playing Arsenal play Aston Villa in game week 19, so you bring in another European team, dragging them into it. Are Aston Villa they're out of the cup, so yeah, it could do, but it just seems unintuitive. Why wait for 19 when you can just do it in 17 and get it done? Seems very intuitive. So that seems the likely place that the EFL quarter-final will go, game week 17. So if the Arsenal Crystal Palace quarter-final goes in game week 17, then Crystal Palace Leeds will have to be a blank, and Arsenal Everton will be a blank. So that seems very likely. The double game week 16 is a separate, less likely thing, but certainly the blank game week 17 seems very likely, I think. I think there is there is this possibility of of having, so you have the EFL quarter-final in the weekend of game week 17. It would have to be at least the Sunday because Crystal Palace are playing on this Thursday here, so it'd have to be the Sunday or the Monday. But if you said it was on the Sunday, then Arsenal, Everton, Crystal Palace, Leeds could play on Christmas Eve. That's the other possibility, so that it wouldn't be a blank then. They play on Christmas Eve, but that seems unlikely because I think there's only been about 2 fixtures ever in Premier League history that have been played on Christmas Eve. And I believe the Premier League have come out and already said that they're not playing any games on Christmas Eve this year. So they'd have to break that. So it seems unlikely they would do that. And especially when Crystal Palace and Leeds can quite easily move to 22. And Arsenal and Everton have a nice blank game week. They will have a nice blank game week in the midweek of 16 as well. That just seems unlikely. So it seems to me very likely you're going to have a blank game week 17, I think. And it seems very likely you're going to have a double game week for Crystal Palace and Leeds in probably 22 or 23. Could be somewhere else later on, but that's my bet. And then it's just this Arsenal-Everton game. And this is the big thing that's like really juicy. If you can get an Arsenal-Everton double game week in 16, then that's beautiful. Because, you know, I mean, I've got 3 Arsenal, 2 Everton already. I'd probably get a third Everton. I've got my free hit still. I'm a triple captain. I can get 3 Arsenal, 3 Everton, double game week, triple captain. Then free hit them out in 17 when they all blank. So that's nice. I'll talk more about that in a minute. The possibility of Arsenal and Everton going in 16 then. Basically, I just think it seems really logical and like, why wait? They've got a nice gaping big hole there. So game week 16, this is the EFL quarter-final, but for Arsenal and Crystal Palace, if it gets moved to 17, then Arsenal have a blank midweek there, and Everton will obviously have a blank. They're not in Europe and they're not in the EFL Cup. So why not put it there? Why not put it there? There is some, you know, if you don't put it there, if you don't put it in 16, then all of these white spaces here are like potential places you could put it, but they're not really. These white spaces are not really white. This is the FA Cup round of 64, so that's blocked. This will be the semi-final, so they can't put something here of the EFL semi-final of the EFL because they don't know whether that will be free or not until Arsenal have played. And if Arsenal beat Palace, which they could, then they'll be blocked. There's the FA, you know, all of these are potentially blocked because we don't know how far Arsenal are going to get in these tournaments. These two are the playoffs of the Champions League. They might just bet that Arsenal will not have to play in those playoffs. They'll qualify without having to play in the playoffs. And that's something I'd like to look at. I haven't looked at that yet. I don't know whether there might be a point where it's mathematically certain that Arsenal will not have to play in those playoffs. I doubt it though, because there's still 2 games here, and then this game here. There'll be 3 games, 9 points. You know, I don't know if Arsenal win all their games right up to here, they might be able to mathematically qualify and not have to go into the playoffs, but I doubt it. So I don't think they'd risk putting it in one of those two. They might, and especially when you just don't need to. There's just this lovely blank midweek there where they could just play Arsenal and Everton. It's still in line with all the fixtures and stuff. Just seems so obvious and intuitive to stick it there. And then all the rest beyond that are all kind of potentially blocked too. So yeah, I think it's really likely you're going to have a double game week 16. The only other possibility is something that James from Planet of FPL, this was his intuition. And James from Planet FPL is like a proper genius. He's got like an encyclopedic mind. He knows a lot about this fixture rescheduling stuff. So if this was his intuition, then there must be more to it than I think. He's probably seen this happen before. I think there probably is precedent. Basically, he thought that they would just make them play both midweek. This is something they could do. There's just the EFL game would just carry on, get scheduled for that Wednesday, and then they'll still have to play this game on the Thursday, and they'll just be forced to play 2 different teams, you know, a reserve team. I think there is precedent for it. Probably is, but I can't see Crystal Palace agreeing to that or wanting to do that. Again, especially when it would be so easy to. I don't know what. See, this is where, you know, maybe the EFL would refuse to. They want all their fixtures here. Maybe the TV companies would want them all in the midweek. Maybe there'd be some other. There are always some factors that I'm not aware of. Things beyond my understanding that there may be some other forces. But that's one possibility. They make them play them both. The reason I'm kind of like skeptical of that is because Palace at the moment, they actually haven't started that well. They won 1, lost 1. There's only 6 games in the Conference League, so they've only got 4 more games. To go into that final game against Cups with, if they won all the next 3 games, they'd get to 12 points. So to be guaranteed of finishing in the top 8, you'd need, like, if there was just 8 other teams or 7 or 8 other teams that are on 9 points, then that's all they need to be, and then they're not guaranteed to finish in the top 8 necessarily. And so you'd only need about 8 teams that are on 9 points, and you've already got like 6 that are on 6. So you only need a couple more of these to just get to 9 points in 3 games, and then they won't be guaranteed to be finishing in the top 8. So I don't think they'd like that. I don't think they'd be happy to just play a reserve team and it would be a meaningless game. I don't think so. And they haven't got that deep of a squad either. So that's my guess, is that Palace wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't want to play both games in a week. And it seems so easy. I mean, it seems so easy for me to just switch the EFL game to the weekend there, and then Arsenal-Everton play here, and Crystal Palace Leeds in 22. So it's a nice, easy solution. So, yeah. So basically, I think it's about, 75% chance that that's going to happen. And there's just 25% of like that uncertainty. You never know what could happen. And did I mention this actually? I can't remember if I did. There is this possibility. Did I say the Christmas Eve? I did this video before and I had to redo it because I can't remember what I've said. But yeah, there's a possibility of them playing it on Christmas Eve, but they probably won't. I think I've said that, haven't I? Jesus, too early in the morning. Yeah, they probably won't do that. So, happy days. I think there's a good chance. Yeah, it's just still a bit of uncertainty, but I think there's a good chance of double game week 16 for Arsenal and Everton. Blank game week 17, Crystal Palace Leeds. And then it'll be double game week for Crystal Palace Leeds 22 or 23. That's my bet. So navigating that, I'm glad I kept my triple captain and my free hit. Because that's perfect. Triple captain there, game week 16. Load up on Arsenal and Everton players, probably free hit them out in 17. I can get Crystal Palace and Leeds players if I want. Not sure how many I want, but I could do them because now I can free hit them out there as well. Might be a differential to lean into them if other people can't, because they're kind of going to want to try and get rid of them. That could be handy. And also, the other side of 17, I may start looking to bring in Crystal Palace and Leeds players if they got a double in 22 as well. So that's good. If you don't have your free hit, if you don't have your triple captain, you probably used it on Haaland. He did well earlier in the season, didn't he? So you're probably all right anyway. But if you don't have your free hit, we are getting like these 5 AFCON transfers in 16, I think it is. So you can use them, but which is fine, except I still think you've got an advantage having a free hit because you can then keep those 5 free transfers and then use them later on in the season. Just roll them, use them later in the season when we're likely to get bigger doubles and bigger blanks. So that's what I would do, and I'm hoping that would be the advantage there. Yeah, so, but that's all fun and games. Yeah, that's the plan. And my team, so I've got 3 Arsenal already, 2 Everton. I'm glad I've got Garner. He'll probably be pretty good. I mean, Everton's double is actually kind of crap though. The double will be for Arsenal. It's going to be great. It'll be Wolves at home, Everton away. For Everton, it would be Chelsea away and Arsenal at home, which is rubbish. And that's not even very good for DEFCON players because Chelsea may be centre-backs, but Chelsea don't give up many DEFCONs. They're quite low for centre-backs. Arsenal are actually pretty good for centre-backs, so maybe Tarkowski will be all right. And then, what are we doing? I think Chelsea and Arsenal are both low when it comes to defensive midfielders. So Arsenal are bottom, and Chelsea are right near the bottom as well. So for Garner, for instance, he might not have that much of a good shout of getting him DEFCONs anyway. But he's still got a double, and I've got him in my team anyway, so I'm just going to play him, aren't I? It's still good to have him there. You never know. But yeah, triple Arsenal, triple Everton should be pretty nice. Triple cap, somebody from Arsenal, Wolves at home, Everton away is really good. Hope it happens. Think it should. Yeah. So that's my team. That's the plan. Don't think I've got much more to say about that. Palace, I mean, some people are bringing in Mateta, aren't they? They may have to think twice. Where are we? Game week 10 now. It's a little way to go. You could still bring Mateta because his fixtures are actually, they get a bit worse, don't they? People are targeting this run here up to like 14 and 15, and then they got Man City in 16 anyway. So, you know, you're not sure you want him for that one necessarily. So people may still bring in Mateta and then get rid of him or Sarr. Yeah. So that's that. I'll just have a talk about my team quick, I guess. I got a red arrow last game week, mainly because of Van der Ven. I was looking like a kind of a green or a grey, then Van der Ven smashed me. So I got like pretty much all of that 6.48 is that 7 points under. And I think some of it was like Kudos or other players as well. Yeah, it is what it is. Doing all right, 1.6 mil. Plans for next game week. I've got one free transfer, 0.9 in the bank. I think I'm half thinking I'm probably going to roll. And I think I'm half thinking that I can sense a little switch with maybe Gyökeres or Saka. Probably Gyökeres coming out and maybe going for double Arsenal defence. Possibly. There's a lot of good midfielders at the moment, like Mbomo and Sarr. And I am wondering whether I could even go down to a structure of only one forward and actually drop Gyökeres down to somebody really cheap and then upgrade one of Xhaka or Ghana. And I guess it would have to be Xhaka now, which is annoying because I love Xhaka, but it might have to be Xhaka if Ghana's got this double game week coming up potentially. But I could I mean, they're not much difference, these two anyway. They serve the same function. I could upgrade Xhaka to a Mbomo or a Sarr or something like that. And then get double Arsenal defence. Originally, I was kind of looking at Tarkowski to come out. He was one of the ones I might have come out and sold him for Timber. But now he's got a double, so I may keep hold of him now. Could do Petrovic to Raya instead then. Something like that. Yeah, and I've been looking at things like, Gyökeres to... I had almost exact funds to do Gyökeres to Thiago, Ghana or Xhaka up to Mbomo, and then Tarkowski to Timber, but I'm 0.1 out of that now. I'd have to go to Calafiori instead. But I could also go down further than Thiago and actually just go down to, God forbid, even a Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Even he's probably just going to be... His function is going to be to stay on my bench for most of the games anyway. Calvert-Lewin, and he's Leeds, and because I've got a free hit, that wouldn't matter so much because I can free hit him out in 17 if he blanks. So I could go down to a Calvert-Lewin, and then I'd have plenty of money then to upgrade Xhaka to an Mbomo and do whatever I want in defence. Then Petrovic to Raya. It's actually quite a big jump. I think I got the money for that. Petrovic to Raya then. Tarkowski to Timber, something like that. But I don't think I want to sell Tarkowski. Probably won't sell him now. Maybe Richards. We'll see. That's a possibility. But I'm probably just going to roll next game week. Senesi won't be in the team. It'll be Richards. Richards apparently is fine. Well, Glasner said he'll probably play Brentford. So at the moment, I'll wait for news. But I think I'll take my chance with him. Tarkowski, Sunderland's good. Sunderland not that attacking. Gabriel's great. Obviously, Chow against West Ham's pretty good. Hate the keepers, but I'm just going to take this one on the chin. Petrovic versus Man City. I'm just going to have to take that one on the chin. His fixtures get better afterwards if I'm going to keep him. Midfield, Bruno's good. Arsenal boys are good. Haaland's good. Am I playing Ghana? I don't think I'm playing... No, I'm playing Xhaka, I think. Xhaka, Everton are actually pretty good for the Defcons. When it comes to defensive midfielders, Everton are fairly high, and I think they were high last season as well. For DMs, yeah, second top. So Everton are a pretty good team. Sunderland are quite low, and I think the promoted teams were quite low last season as well. Yeah. So it'll probably be Xhaka. Semenyo against Man City is not the best fixture, but I think it's all right. Bournemouth are good. They could sting. They could get a goal against Man City. So I will probably just play him. I was thinking about, could I do Semenyo to Mbomo, but it's just it's just knee-jerk again. I don't think I need to do it. And Bomo's got AFCON as well, so you're only getting a few more games out of him and then he's gone. But selling Saka to Mbomo to Saka a couple of game weeks ago is very annoying. I mean, I can't judge it too soon just yet because Saka could still come good yet. He's still a good player. He still could come good, and then maybe I won't be bothered by it. But yeah, I sold Mbomo last season and he killed me. He just went on this massive run and scored loads of points, and it's like, really, really stung. And he's done it again just as I sold him this time. He scored like, 3 in the last 2 since I sold him. So that's annoying. But he's quite low owned, so it hasn't hurt me too much. Yeah. Captain, some people talking about Gabriel captain. I did think about that. Because if you think a goal for a forward is 4 points and a clean sheet is 4 points, and it's like, well, what's more certain? It feels like an Arsenal clean sheet is more certain than a goal for some of these strikers, for Haaland even. But then the problem with that is that Haaland has a higher ceiling. He could get 2, 3, 4 goals. Who knows? He's a robot. But Gabriel can't get 2, 3, 4 clean sheets. It's 1 clean sheet and that's it. And then you're relying on his goal threat, which he has a good goal threat. And you never know. But I think I'd still probably go Haaland. I think my model has Haaland top. Computer's gone slow. Let's have a look. Pretty sure my model still has Haaland at top. Anyway, let's do it with that one. Yeah, so he's top by a fair margin, half a point. His XGI is so high. So I would still probably go, and Gabriel's chance of defcons is probably pretty low against Burnley as well. I think Burnley are one of the ones at the bottom. Let's have a look. Yeah, smack bang at the bottom. So I probably won't go Gabriel. I'll probably just stick on Haaland. That's what the model says. He's very good. Stick with the numbers. Yeah, I think that's it. Don't think I've got anything else to say, so I will stop talking and leave it there, I think. Okay, thanks for listening. See you later. Bye-bye.